In this tutorial, we will be talking about the indirect plan and how to use it.
So indirect plan is the plan of organization for writing bad news, negative news, or persuasive news. The details are presented in the first of the letter, and the main ideas come later. The purpose of indirect plan is used for reverse claim, reverse request, unfavorable decision, and unsolicited unpleasant information. Next, please. So when to use the indirect plan for negative messages, the indirect plan is used when there are one or more of the following characteristics. First of all, the receiver expects a positive response from the sender. Second, when the message affects the receiver personally and evoke their emotion. Third, the negative message is important and the receiver will react negatively. And lastly, it could be dependent on culture or other reason that the receiver prefers indirect communication.
So next is about why we use indirect plan. First of all, it creates goodwill. For negative messages, negative feedback will be expected, but by using indirect plan, it will keep a good relationship between the sender and the receiver. So secondly, it avoids conflict. Some messages intended for bad news could be too straightforward. However, by using the indirect plan, it will soften the message and the information, and also the result in the message will have the lower chance of getting into conflicts and misunderstandings. Lastly, it creates in a high context culture. Since people in certain culture expect the sender to be less straightforward, the indirect plan is often used by some high context culture in which more implicit communication is preferred to avoid unpleasant and save face.
Next is the outline of the indirect plan for negative messages. Firstly is the opening buffer. The first sentence or paragraph of the indirect plan is the opening buffer, which should provide coherence, build goodwill, be positive, maintain neutrality, and introduce the explanation. It usually consists of 1 to 3 sentences. Next, the second part is the logical explanation. It's the reasoning that justifies negative information presented before the actual negative information. Next is the negative information. Now we are ready to present the actual negative information after we have prepared the receivers to be ready to easily accept the information, refusal, or decision. In this step, we need to be sure that the reader clearly understands this part of your message and should be kept short.
Next, the constructive follow-up provides an alternative solution and/or gives additional reasoning justifying the unfavorable news. It is also here as a way to strengthen your communication and also build a positive relationship with the receiver. Last, the friendly close moves the receiver mind away from the problem and provides an opportunity to build goodwill. The wording of the friendly close should fit the receiver and the particular situation.
Next, we will show an example of a letter written using indirect plan. Next. So the situation is to write a job dismissal letter as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. Dear Ms. Brown, our company appreciates all your hard work and efforts during these past years. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, our factory has been forced to close down, resulting in a great revenue loss. Therefore, it has become necessary for the company to temporarily reduce our workforce. You will be able to work with Fresh from Farm up until October 31st, 2020. We will communicate potential return dates as we learn more about this issue. Your final paycheck for the salary owed to you will be given to you on the 30th November 2020. Thank you for your continued contributions to our company. If you have any further questions about your rights and layoff benefits, please get in contact with Gawaline from Finance Department. Sincerely, Shayada Gaman Human Resource Manager. This example follows the indirect plan of organization by starting with the opening buffer, appreciating the hard work of this employee. followed by a logical explanation about the COVID-19 situation and its effect on the company. The negative news is then presented in the middle part of the letter and followed by the constructive follow-up about the salary paycheck. Lastly, the letter will end with a fairly close, which will help the company to keep positive relationships with the employee. Next.
Thank you.